Now, I want you to think about what really drives you, what fuels your heart. It's easy to get caught up in a world that tells us success is found in numbers, bank accounts, likes, followers, titles. Society can have us racing toward a destination that doesn't feel like home, chasing something that often leaves us feeling more empty than full. But I want to tell you today that true success, true fulfillment doesn't lie in the things we gather. It lies in the things we give, in the meaning we bring to each day, and in the purpose we pursue. You see, we were all born with something special inside of us, each one of us, something unique, irreplaceable, and sacred. When we run after money or status, we start to lose sight of that sacred purpose. And slowly, sometimes without us even noticing, we can start to feel detached from our true selves. Now, I know it might sound like purpose is some grand, unreachable thing out there, but it's right here, right now, inside each of us, waiting for us to pay attention. I'm not saying money doesn't matter, of course. We all need to take care of ourselves and our families, but there's a difference between having money and letting money have you. There's a difference between working hard because you love what you do and working because you feel you have to or because it's just what everybody else is doing. We get to choose how we show up in the world and what we make important in our lives. And when we choose to put purpose above everything else, life starts to make sense in a way that it doesn't when we're only focused on things. True fulfillment comes from pursuing purpose, not possessions. In our society today, so much emphasis is placed on what we own, what we drive, where we live, and what labels we wear. We're taught from a young age that having more is the ultimate sign of success, that the latest gadget or the bigger house is what we should be striving for. But deep down, we know this isn't the whole truth. We know that joy doesn't come wrapped up in a price tag. True fulfillment isn't something that can be bought or owned. It's something we cultivate within ourselves by aligning with a purpose that transcends the material. Purpose has a unique ability to fill spaces in our lives that nothing else can. It gives us direction, it gives us hope, and it gives us resilience in times of struggle. While possessions can bring temporary satisfaction, they can't bring the lasting sense of peace and fulfillment that purpose offers. Purpose is that quiet, steady voice that reminds us who we are and why we're here, that whispers to us in the moments we feel lost or unsure, that tells us to keep going, keep growing, keep striving towards something greater than ourselves. People who have amassed wealth and fame often speak about feeling empty, about the loneliness that comes with having everything but purpose. It's a feeling that can creep up even on those of us who aren't wealthy or famous when we're living lives that aren't true to who we are. There's a reason why so many of us feel something is missing, even when, by society's standards, we should be happy. The missing piece is often purpose, that sense of being connected to something meaningful, something that speaks to our souls and calls us forward. Fulfillment doesn't come from what's on the outside. It comes from knowing that every day you're living in alignment with your values, doing work that matters, connecting with people who bring out the best in you, and growing into the person you were always meant to be. Possessions, on the other hand, can distract us from our purpose, leading us down paths that leave us feeling more disconnected from ourselves and from others. When we focus too much on accumulating things, we start to lose touch with the true essence of who we are. We become caught up in a cycle of consumption, always needing more, yet never feeling like we have enough. It's a trap that keeps us chasing after an illusion of happiness, while our true purpose and potential are left untapped. In contrast, living with purpose brings a sense of wholeness that possessions cannot offer. Purpose reminds us that life isn't about the amount of things we own, but about the impact we make, the people we uplift, and the legacy we leave behind. This realization can change everything. When we live with purpose, we start to see ourselves as part of something bigger, something that goes beyond the confines of our personal desires and wants. Purpose gives us the courage to dream bigger, to step out of our comfort zones, and to pursue paths that may not come with guarantees but are filled with possibilities. It gives us resilience in moments of failure, joy in moments of success, and peace in moments of uncertainty. When you pursue purpose, every day becomes meaningful no matter what challenges you face. Purpose teaches us that there is value in the journey, not just the destination, that life is about growth and contribution, not accumulation. You start to see each experience, each lesson, each person who crosses your path as part of your purpose, a piece of the puzzle that helps you become who you were meant to be. Possessions may bring comfort, but they don't provide the kind of fulfillment that fuels your soul. Living with purpose, however, fuels you in a way that's sustainable, that allows you to give and grow without feeling drained or exhausted. When you wake up each day knowing you're working towards something that matters, you feel an inner peace that nothing else can provide. It's the kind of peace that comes from knowing you're on the right path, that your life has meaning, that you're making a difference, even if the world can't always see it. Fulfillment through purpose allows us to rise above the superficial concerns of daily life. We stop measuring ourselves by the things we own and start valuing ourselves for who we are, for the love we give, the kindness we show, and the impact we make. Purpose brings a kind of richness that can't be measured by money or possessions. It's a richness of the spirit, a fullness of the heart, a depth of character that only comes from living in alignment with what matters most. True fulfillment is a feeling of completeness that possessions alone can never bring. It's about being able to look in the mirror and feel proud of the person you've become, knowing that you're contributing to the world in a way that's uniquely yours. True fulfillment, in its essence, is about giving back, about using your gifts and talents to make a positive difference, about lifting others as you rise, and leaving a legacy that goes beyond material wealth. When we live with purpose, we give ourselves permission to follow our passions, to dream boldly, to fail, and to try again. We stop chasing after what everyone else thinks we should want, and we start listening to the call within us, the call that knows where we're meant to go and who we're meant to be. Purpose shows us that life is about serving, about creating, about making an impact that echoes far beyond our lifetimes. And the more we live with purpose, the more we realize that true success isn't measured by how much we have, but by how much we give. True fulfillment comes when we align with something bigger than ourselves, when we dedicate our lives to something meaningful, when we pursue what we're passionate about and make a difference along the way. Possessions can't give us this kind of peace, this kind of joy, this kind of fulfillment. True fulfillment is born from the depths of our souls, from the part of us that knows we are meant to be more than consumers, that we are creators, builders, nurturers, leaders. True fulfillment comes from honoring the call within, from living with intention, from letting go of the need for more and embracing the desire to give. When you chase what feeds your soul, life rewards you in unexpected ways. There's a certain magic that happens when you decide to follow the path that truly lights you up from the inside. In a world full of distractions and expectations, it's so easy to get lost, to be pulled in directions that don't feel quite right, to follow paths that seem safe but don't really satisfy. We're often taught to look outside of ourselves for validation, to listen to others about what we should do, who we should be, and what we should pursue. But real fulfillment doesn't come from living someone else's version of success. It comes from honoring the call within, from listening to that voice that tells you where you're meant to go, from having the courage to pursue the things that truly make you feel alive. When you follow what feeds your soul, you start to feel a sense of freedom, a sense of clarity that wasn't there before. You stop feeling the need to constantly prove yourself, to chase after things that don't really matter, to impress people who may not even understand your journey. Instead, you begin to focus on what brings you joy, what brings you peace, what makes you feel like your most authentic self. And when you do that, life has a way of aligning things in ways you never could have planned or predicted. The right opportunities seem to show up at the right time. The right people come into your life when you least expect it. Doors open and pathways emerge that you hadn't even considered before. When we're chasing something that truly resonates with our soul, we're moving in alignment with our highest potential, and that's a powerful thing. There's a natural flow that starts to unfold, a sense of ease that replaces the constant struggle. We stop feeling like we're pushing against something, and instead we feel like we're being pulled forward by something greater than ourselves. It's as if the universe, life itself, starts to respond to our passion, to our dedication, to our willingness to follow our heart. It's not that everything suddenly becomes easy or that challenges disappear, but the challenges we face feel meaningful, like they're part of a bigger picture, a journey that's worth the effort. Following what feeds your soul isn't always the popular choice. Sometimes it requires us to go against the grain, to take risks, to step into the unknown. But the rewards that come from living this way are unlike anything else. There's a joy, a fulfillment that can't be measured by external success alone. It's the feeling of waking up each day, knowing you're doing something that matters to you, something that feels right, something that makes you feel like you're living your truth. And when you're in that place, life starts to feel less like a race and more like a dance, a flow, a journey that's unfolding perfectly. Often we think that chasing what we want means giving up security, stability, or success. But the truth is, the things that truly feed our souls are often the things that will ultimately bring us the greatest rewards, both internally and externally. When we're aligned with our purpose, when we're doing work that resonates with who we are at the core, we become more productive, more creative, more resilient. We're able to give our best because we're fueled by something deeper, something that isn't dependent on external validation. And when we're operating from that place, success tends to follow. The beauty of following what feeds your soul is that it brings a sense of fulfillment that doesn't fade. It's not like the temporary highs we get from achieving something just for the sake of it, or from getting things that don't truly matter to us. When you're doing what you love, when you're living with purpose, that feeling of fulfillment stays with you, no matter what. It's a sense of contentment, a deep-seated peace that comes from knowing you're on the right path. Chasing what feeds your soul doesn't mean that life becomes perfect or that challenges disappear. It simply means that the challenges become worth it, that the setbacks don't shake you in the same way. You become more resilient, more focused, more determined, because you know you're working towards something that truly matters to you. And that kind of passion, that kind of dedication is what makes all the difference. It's what allows us to keep going, to keep pushing forward, even when things get tough, because we know that the journey is worth it. When we pursue what feeds our soul, we give ourselves permission to be who we truly are, to express ourselves fully, to live authentically. And in doing so, we give others permission to do the same. We become examples of what's possible, of what it looks like to live a life that's aligned with purpose and passion. And in that way, we create a ripple effect, inspiring others to follow their own path, to listen to their own heart, to chase their own dreams. It's a beautiful cycle, one that brings more joy, more fulfillment, and more connection to everyone involved. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, and sometimes the path we think we should be on isn't the path that's meant for us. But when we have the courage to listen to our inner voice, to follow the things that truly light us up, we find that the journey itself becomes the reward. We stop feeling like we need to reach a specific destination to be happy, because we realize that happiness is found in the act of pursuing what we love, in the act of living in alignment with our soul. So often we look to the outside world for guidance, for validation, for a sense of direction. But the truth is, the answers we seek are already within us. Our soul knows what it needs. It knows what will bring us joy. It knows what will make us feel fulfilled. And when we have the courage to trust that inner knowing, to follow what feels right, life has a way of rewarding us in ways we never could have imagined. It may not always look the way we thought it would, but it will be exactly what we need. Chasing what feeds your soul is an act of self-love, an act of courage, an act of trust. It's a choice to honor who you are, to prioritize your own happiness, to follow your own path. And when you make that choice, you'll find that life responds to you in kind. You'll find that the things you once thought were out of reach suddenly become possible, that the dreams you once thought were too big start to feel attainable, that the challenges you once feared no longer hold you back. Life rewards those who are brave enough to follow their heart, to pursue what they truly love, to live in alignment with their soul. Money might provide comfort, but purpose brings peace. So often we find ourselves caught up in the chase for more money, more possessions, more symbols of success that the world tells us we need to be happy. It's easy to get swept up in the notion that once we have a certain amount in the bank or a certain lifestyle, then we'll feel content, then we'll find that sense of peace we're searching for. And while money can certainly provide comfort, giving us the ability to create stability, to take care of ourselves and our families, it doesn't reach into the depths of our soul to give us the peace we truly crave. Real peace, lasting peace, the kind that isn't shaken by circumstances or the rise and fall of material success, is something that can only come from within. It's rooted in a sense of purpose, in knowing that we're living a life that feels true, meaningful, and aligned with who we really are. When we pursue only comfort, when we chase only money, we might find ourselves feeling hollow, feeling like something important is missing. It's that nagging sense that no matter how much we acquire, it's never quite enough. There's always another level to reach, another goal to meet, another benchmark to hit. And so the cycle continues, pulling us further and further away from the things that truly matter, the things that bring us lasting joy and peace. Comfort can make life easier, yes, but it doesn't necessarily make life fulfilling. Purpose, on the other hand, adds a depth and richness to life that no amount of money can replicate. It gives us something to hold on to when everything else feels uncertain, something that grounds us, centers us, and reminds us of what truly matters. Purpose isn't something you can buy or achieve. It's something you discover, something you cultivate, something you grow into. It's the guiding force that directs our lives, the reason behind why we do what we do. When you're living with purpose, you're not just moving through life on autopilot, going through the motions without really being present. You're engaged, you're alive, you're connected to something bigger than yourself. And that connection, that sense of meaning, brings a peace that's unshakable. It's a peace that doesn't depend on circumstances or on what you have or don't have. It's a peace that comes from within, from knowing that you're living in alignment with your values, with your true self, with your highest calling. Money can buy comfort, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all deserve to feel safe, secure, and able to meet our needs. But there's a fine line between having enough and always wanting more, a line that, if crossed, can leave us feeling like we're forever chasing after something we'll never quite catch. That's because true peace isn't something that can be bought or earned. It's something that arises naturally when we're living a life of purpose. Purpose gives us the strength to navigate life's challenges, to weather the storms, to keep going, even when things get tough. It gives us resilience because we know that no matter what happens, we're doing something that matters, something that feels right, something that brings us joy. When you live with purpose, you start to see life differently. You begin to value experiences over possessions, growth over status, love over power. You stop measuring your worth by what you own or by what you've achieved, and you start to measure it by the impact you're making, by the joy you're experiencing, by the connections you're nurturing. Purpose shifts our focus from the external to the internal, from the things we can show to the things we feel, from the temporary to the lasting. And in that shift, we find a peace that nothing else can provide. It's a peace that comes from knowing we're exactly where we're supposed to be, doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing, with exactly the people we're meant to be with. It's easy to think that comfort and peace are the same thing, that if we just have enough of one, the other will naturally follow. But comfort is external, while peace is internal. Comfort can come and go depending on circumstances, but peace is something that stays with us, something that isn't easily shaken. When we prioritize purpose over comfort, we start to see life as a journey, as an adventure, as something to be explored and embraced rather than controlled and perfected. We start to understand that peace isn't about having a life free from challenges or struggles, but about finding meaning in those challenges, about growing through those struggles, about learning and evolving with each experience. Purpose brings us peace because it gives us a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to keep going even when things are hard, a reason to push through even when we're tired or discouraged. It connects us to a higher vision, a greater sense of meaning, a deeper understanding of who we are and why we're here. And that connection, that sense of purpose, brings a peace that nothing else can provide. It's a peace that allows us to let go of the need to constantly prove ourselves, to chase after things that don't really matter, to impress people who may not even understand our journey. When you're living a life of purpose, you don't feel the need to accumulate things to feel successful or worthy. You know that your worth isn't tied to what you have, but to who you are, to the love you give, the kindness you show, the impact you make. You realize that true success isn't about what you achieve, but about how you live, how you contribute, how you connect. You start to see that peace isn't something you find in the world, but something you cultivate within yourself, something that grows as you live in alignment with your purpose. The world may tell us that money equals happiness, that comfort equals peace. But true peace doesn't come from comfort alone. It comes from a life well lived, a life filled with purpose, a life that feels true and meaningful. When we let go of the need for more, when we stop chasing comfort and start embracing purpose, we open ourselves up to a deeper kind of joy, a joy that isn't dependent on circumstances, a joy that comes from within, a joy that's rooted in the very essence of who we are. Purpose allows us to see beauty in the simple things, to find joy in the journey, to feel gratitude for the present moment. It teaches us that life isn't about reaching a certain destination or achieving a certain level of success, but about the journey itself, about the growth, the learning, the connections we make along the way. And in that journey, in that pursuit of purpose, we find a peace that isn't fleeting, a peace that isn't dependent on what we have, a peace that stays with us no matter what. So while money might provide comfort, it's purpose that brings us the lasting peace we truly crave. When we live a life of purpose, we find ourselves filled with a sense of contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy that goes beyond anything the external world can offer. We stop looking for peace outside of ourselves, and we start to realize that it's something we can cultivate within, something that grows as we align with our values, as we honor our truth, as we live a life that feels meaningful and real. When you focus on growth, abundance follows naturally. Growth is a journey, a continuous unfolding that brings with it lessons, experiences, and insights that shape us into who we're meant to become. So often we get caught up in the idea of chasing abundance directly, thinking that if we just focus hard enough on achieving financial success or accumulating more, we'll somehow find happiness, fulfillment, or peace. But abundance isn't something we can chase directly. It's something that flows into our lives as a result of our growth, our expansion, our willingness to learn and evolve. When we prioritize growth, when we make a commitment to becoming the best version of ourselves, we open the door to a life filled with possibilities, with opportunities, with a kind of richness that goes beyond material wealth. Growth is about embracing change, about stepping out of our comfort zones, about challenging ourselves to move beyond our current limitations. It requires us to look inward, to understand ourselves more deeply, to identify the areas where we can improve, where we can learn, where we can expand. It's not always easy, and it's not always comfortable. Growth often requires us to let go of old beliefs, to release habits that no longer serve us, to face fears we'd rather ignore. But when we commit to growth, we commit to a journey that leads us closer to our true potential. And in doing so, we attract abundance not just in terms of financial prosperity, but in terms of joy, fulfillment, peace, and purpose. When you focus on growth, you start to see life differently. You stop seeing challenges as obstacles, and instead you see them as opportunities to learn, to evolve, to become stronger. Every setback becomes a stepping stone. Every failure a lesson, every hardship a teacher. Growth teaches us resilience, it teaches us patience, it teaches us the value of persistence. And as we grow, we become more capable of handling life's ups and downs, more able to navigate the uncertainties, more willing to take risks in the pursuit of our dreams. Growth isn't about reaching a certain destination or achieving a certain level of success. It's about the journey itself, the process of becoming, the joy of discovering what we're truly capable of. And in that journey, we find a sense of abundance that no amount of money can replace. Abundance, real abundance, is about living a life that feels full, rich, and meaningful. It's about having a sense of purpose, a sense of joy, a sense of connection to ourselves and to others. It's about feeling like we're making a difference, like we're contributing something of value, like we're living in alignment with our true selves. And that kind of abundance doesn't come from chasing wealth or status or recognition. It comes from growing into the person we were meant to be. It comes from embracing the journey of self-discovery, from being willing to step into the unknown, from having the courage to pursue our passions and our dreams. Growth and abundance are interconnected, like two sides of the same coin. When we focus on growth, we naturally attract abundance because we're in a state of expansion, of openness, of possibility. We're not limited by fear or doubt or insecurity. We're willing to take bold steps, to explore new paths, to pursue the things that truly matter to us. And when we're in that state of openness, life responds to us in kind. Opportunities start to show up, doors begin to open, people come into our lives who support and encourage us. Abundance flows to those who are willing to grow, who are willing to evolve, who are willing to step into their greatness. It's easy to think that abundance is something we have to chase, something we have to work tirelessly for, something we have to strive for. But abundance is something that flows naturally when we're aligned with our purpose, when we're living in a way that feels true, when we're constantly seeking to grow and improve. It's a byproduct of living a life that's focused on growth, a life that's rooted in love, a life that's guided by purpose. When we let go of the need to chase abundance directly, we create space for it to flow into our lives in unexpected ways. We start to attract the right opportunities, the right people, the right resources to support us on our journey. Growth requires us to be patient, to trust the process, to know that everything we need will come to us at the right time. It requires us to let go of the need for immediate results, the desire for instant gratification, the urge to force things to happen. Growth teaches us to be present, to focus on the here and now, to appreciate the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. And when we're present, when we're fully engaged in the process, we start to see abundance all around us. We start to feel a sense of gratitude for the little things, a sense of joy in the simple moments, a sense of peace in knowing that we're exactly where we're meant to be. When we focus on growth, we begin to attract people and experiences that support our evolution. We attract mentors who guide us, friends who inspire us, opportunities that challenge us. We start to build a life that's rich in connection, in love, in meaning. And that's what true abundance is all about. It's not about how much we have, it's about how we feel, about the quality of our relationships, about the depth of our experiences. Abundance is a state of mind, a way of being, a way of seeing the world. And when we're focused on growth, we naturally find ourselves in that state, feeling grateful, feeling feeling fulfilled. Feeling fulfilled, feeling like our lives are overflowing with possibility. Growth is a journey that requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. It's not always easy, and there will be times when we feel like giving up, when we feel like the path is too hard, when we question whether it's worth it. But those are the moments that test us, that shape us, that help us become stronger, wiser, more resilient. And as we grow, we find that abundance is something that comes to us effortlessly, not because we're chasing it, but because we're living in alignment with who we truly are. When we prioritize growth, we start to let go of the things that no longer serve us. We release old beliefs, outdated habits, limiting thoughts. We create space for new possibilities, for new experiences, for new ways of being. We start to feel lighter, freer, more open, and in that openness, abundance flows. It flows not because we're striving for it, but because we're aligned with it, because we're in a state of expansion, because we're open to receiving. Abundance is the natural result of a life that's focused on growth. It's the reward for our courage, our resilience, our willingness to keep going, even when things get tough. It's the universe's way of saying, you're on the right path, keep going, keep growing, keep evolving. And as we continue to grow, we continue to attract more abundance, more joy, more fulfillment. We start to see that abundance isn't something outside of us, it's something within us, something that grows as we grow, something that flows as we expand. When you focus on growth, abundance follows. Not because you're chasing it, but because you're creating it. You're creating it through your choices, through your actions, through your willingness to become the best version of yourself. You're creating it by living a life that's true, a life that's meaningful, a life that's aligned with your purpose. And in that life, abundance isn't something you have to chase. It's something that comes to you naturally as a reflection of the growth, the joy, the love that fills your heart.